Hi, my name is Lawrence with NeuralSeek, and I'm here to demonstrate our FFIEC peer-to-peer AI agent demo that we co-built with eDelta Consulting. Now, every quarter, thousands of banks submit their call reports to the FFIEC. They also do a consolidated report of all their income, assets, liabilities, and equity. Now, every year, there's an analyst's job is to take their own bank's filing and compare them against their competitors. This is incredibly time-consuming. Now, we're working with a lot of banks, and this process takes hours, sometimes days, and leaves no room for error. Our team co-developed with a very experienced consultant serving these major institutions a series of agents that do this analysis for the bank in an audible and responsible way. So I have a sample peer group of like-minded banks: Berkshire Bank, Columbia Bank, Dime Community Bank, Northwest Bank, and Oceans First Bank. Now, you need to install into this agentic stack who is the primary bank. So for this demo, I'll have Columbia Bank selected. Now, as you can see, we have a stack of agents: a document loader agent, an extraction agent, a data structuring agent, a synthesis agent, a visualization agent, and an output presentation agent. And then out we got this collection of outputs. So let's begin to review. Now, I want to start and show that we have everything here. You can actually drill in, and this was helpful for some debugging and formulating this agentic squad, all the raw data, all those PDFs, all the AI outputs, etc. It's all here for your review as a business. Now, then we have the raw CSV pulled out and abstracted. So data cleansing is a major problem when it comes to these LLMs. They're really good at showing things that look like real answers, but you need to make sure you have your data properly structured in a way for them to understand and to ensure you're getting all the data captured. Now, I like to highlight right away this line-by-line analysis that our AI did. We had an agent go through every single line and make sure that, one, the data was complete, and also doing its own AI-empowered analysis. So we can drill into this interest-bearing balances, and we can see the implication of this asset and why it's important. And our AI's concern is low because we're not that far off from other people. You can continue to drill in, and you can see exactly what's happening. Now, let's say we only want to look at things that are medium concern. Our front end here is going to adapt, and it's going to pull up and say, hey, you should take a look at intangible assets. Well, let's go do that. Here you can see that our bank is pretty much a major outlier. Then we have a summary. So you can see here that this provides an executive summary ready to go. I'm going to email this to myself. Under the cover, I have an AI agent, which I'll show you, that's going to be doing this emailing. Part of the AI agent that does the emailing, part of their role is to take the information and put it into a pretty HTML format so it makes sense. Here's that output. Now you'll also notice that there's this get recommendation button. Let's drill in. So what happened under the covers is we partnered with eDelta and created an AI agent specifically tailored to do some hypothetical situations. You can see that it drills into how would the bank perform if unemployment continues to rise? And it gives a recommendation based off of the inference that the other AI agent pulled from the peer-to-peer analysis. And we could also email this as well. Now let's take a second to drill in and really see what is going on under the covers to provide such a detailed, thorough analysis here. Well, if we go, first I want to show you the main powerhouse agent that's doing a lot of different things, and it's calling a bunch of built-in agents that are present in NeuralSeek. First is our ability to load documents. So loading a document is not a simple task to these LLMs. You need to be able to understand all different types of document formats, and we are purpose-built for business. So we're very strong at uploading PDFs and things that would typically need complex OCR. We then take the information out of it and split it down to understand exactly what are the data and what's just filler for the PDF. Then from there, we call an LLM. This LLM's job is all about just doing an organization of all these documents and making that CSV, that consolidated, easy to read analysis report. Then the next LLM call does the summary. Now, this is the prompt that I played with a little bit here, but the main value prop here is that I can then either use the default LLM, which I have Claude 3.5, or I can override it with another one. So I did some testing and I found that Claude worked perfectly fine for this. Next is our line-by-line analyzer. So this was an agent that I actually worked with a ton to get this prompt to be properly formatted, because every single time I want it to be sent back to the front end in a specific manner, in a specific setup. You can see that I'm very explicit giving it important rules. Now, this prompt that I engineered took some time, but it was worth it because now the output is consistent. And then I actually ended up doing a lot of testing around what was the best LLM for this. So you can see here, I ended up picking Gemini 2.0 Flash, but I did some iterations testing Claude and testing DeepSeek, and I decided that Gemini was the most consistent and got the job done. The next agent we have to show is, this is our email agent. You can see that it's doing two things. It's taking some raw text. It's then figuring out a nice subject line, and then it's creating a pretty formatted HTML output for the email. Now, this agent is one that I use fairly often. You can see it's just called Lawrence Gmail up here. I use this one a lot, and I actually reused it twice in this demo. The next agent is our peer-to-peer analysis summarizer powered by a partnership with eDelta. So those question inputs were coming from John and his just pure analytical mind. And then bringing that here, we can then surround it with a nicely formatted LLM call. And we also, again, have the ability to override this if we want to play with that output. Now, the next thing I want to highlight is our ability as a platform to govern all of this. So this is our governance tab. And you can see here, it's doing a few things. It's telling us which agents are running the most. So you can see my Gmail agent has been running 39 times in this instant. And then my bank comparison agent, that powerhouse one that has all those LLM calls, all the document reading and data scraping, that ran a total of 94 times in this instance. We can actually drill in and we could see. So you can see in preparation for me in this video, I did a bunch of testing to make sure that things were perfect. Now I can go drill down into our logs and I can see over time what agents were run. Now let's say I want to go back to this initial call that kicked off the demo. I can go into our debugger and I can see exactly what inputs were given. And then I can see as it goes through this workflow, what were the different outputs and what were the different inputs to different LLM calls. I can actually also drill down and see a timeline of over time exactly what happened and how. And then lastly, it's very important to understand your cost. So we're able to drill into our cost for our agent stack here and understand exactly where were the peaks and where were the valleys. We can zoom in and we can see exactly what happened and why. Thank you. This is one of our flagship demos. We have a lot. They'll be added to the Explore page. Please check them out.